Meanwhile, north of there, we're following a developing story tonight. An area that didn't see flash flooding so much last night is now being inundated by river flooding as we speak. Now, the city of Cook is about a half-hour north of Virginia, and the Little Fork River runs right through town. Check out this before and after today of downtown Cook via the Weather Service. The photo you see on the right there was taken early this afternoon. The pic on the left was just 3 hours later. The Little Fork River is rising and sending water into Cook, and the water is expected to keep on rising. To break down the significance of this developing story, we are joined on the phone by Duluth National Weather Service meteorologist Ketzel Evans.
Yeah, Ketzel spent the day in Cook monitoring and documenting that growing flood there. Ketzel, thank you so much for joining us. Now, we saw that before and after photos of downtown. Describe what's happening tonight in Cook.
Absolutely. So in Cook, like you mentioned, the Little Fork River runs pretty much right through the heart of town. And that river, it took a really big rise initially overnight from the overland flooding, just the water that was right next to the river coming into it. And that already had the river outside of its banks. Today, we've continued to see these gradual rises as all of the rain upstream is filtering through the river. And that was some of that rain, over 7 inches, that fell near Lake Vermilion, that's now coming in. Like I said, the river well out of its banks, it's now starting to inundate into town. So it starts in the lower areas and works its way up. It's over a couple bridges, and it's approaching the bottom of the railroad bridge as well. So this is starting to creep down roads and come around businesses and residences as well.
And so as folks there are dealing with all of this water coming into town, we saw those images. I think we have more of them. Water just filling downtown Cook. How much more is the Little Fork going to rise? What does that mean for Cook as the water keeps on rising?
Yeah, so we are still seeing those rises going up on the Little Fork. It's a little bit hard to tell. We don't exactly model this location, but we coordinated with our folks down at the River Forecast Center. We're expecting at least another 6 inches of rise on this river over the next 12 to 24 hours. Part of the problem here is parts of downtown Cook are pretty flat, so even a half an inch or an inch of rise gives you a lot of mileage and further inundation into town. On the very, very high end, we could see upwards of a foot, but I think somewhere around 6 to 8 inches of additional rise is expected, and then that water is going to be really slow to come down. We're not expecting a lot of rain later in the week, but they're probably going to be dealing with high water at least through the weekend.
Wow, and Ketzel, just looking at the footage here, that water is so close to the bridge there. Has this happened before in Cook? Is this something that the town has seen before?
You know, I asked folks about that this afternoon, and even the folks that were remembering back, they said maybe something similar had happened in the 70s, but they had never seen water get this far into town. Even when we were dealing with record flooding in 2022, we didn't see the water. It was feet below these bridges, where it's now at least a foot over.
Well, Cook is one of those gateway communities to Lake Vermilion on the west end of that big lake, a big tourist town. This is the time of the year when they really see a lot of people, when those businesses make their money. Really tough to see water filling that city tonight. Meteorologist Ketzel Evans with the National Weather Service in Duluth, thank you so much for your knowledge and your time here tonight.
Absolutely happy to be here.
And Adam, you've got more on what the Little Fork is doing right now.
Yeah, so the National Weather Service is holding on to this flood warning across the Arrowhead and through the Iron Range and into central Minnesota because of situations like this. The water is still in the process of moving. Up the North Shore, like I was talking about last night, those are really flashy systems, so they rise really fast and fall really fast. But this is a huge area and a lot of different topography going on. So like in the Cook area, we're seeing the water rising really slowly, and therefore it's likely going to be falling really slowly. So this is the latest on river levels. I mean, it did rise actually pretty fast initially, but we're starting to see this slow creep in the rise. And like Ketzel was saying, it could rise another 6 to maybe up to 12 inches still over the course of the next 12 to 24 hours. So flooding is likely going to get worse in the area of Cook before it starts to get better. Hopefully not ruining too much property out there. And of course, you know, don't ever drive over bridges where there is water flowing over it. Very bad situations there.